Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital?
Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
a General Hospital fan podcast.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the General Hospital recap for April 17th through 21st.
Any pipeline? Anything?
No pipeline, but you have Netflix.
I do.
Have you seen one of the new movies? And it looks like it's supposed to be a kid movie.
No.
It's called Chupa.
No.
It's about a chupacabra that lives in a grandfather's shed. And the producers are who also did Home Alone and Night at the Museum.
Did you watch it?
I did not.
Okay.
It was one of the big
it's
cards.
like, watch this.
And I was like, it has to be a chupacabra. But it looked like a little bunny, but not a little bunny.
Okay.
And I watched, and it's Christian Slater.
Oh my gosh.
So I actually don't know if it's a kid movie. I didn't really look anything other than the description where I was like, wait a second, because he starts talking about this mythical creature and blah, 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 blah. But then you never actually see, like I'm picturing the little chupa's going to jump on his papers and be like, you love me. No, I did not. Maybe we should. We should, just in the spirit of...
I really hope it's exactly how you just described it.
And not like a horror movie.
Right, exactly. It jumps on your desk and rips off your face.
Oh, well, it looked way too cute. It was...
Okay.
I know that Netflix has a broad range, but I feel like that they would not put this cute little cuddly thing on a card
on the front page.
Right, because kids are going to see that and be like, let's watch that, and then have it not be. I'm going to give them that credit. I'm going to think that they would not do that.
All right. I'll tell Madeline to check it out for us.
Okay. And then we did forget to mention the new Charlotte last week.
We did.
I don't know how, because I don't want to say it was an insignificant conversation, but
it was an insignificant conversation. I mean, she popped in, Papa, I'm glad you're okay. Okay, you'd expect that.
Right. You already knew I was alive.
Right. And how's Anna? She's concerned. Okay, that's nice. They made her older. We'll see where we go from here.
Barely older. Like, just old enough. I feel like, oh no, she's not that old then. I was thinking, what if Emma does come back, but Emma's already in college? Like, we already know that Emma, even though the actress is the same,
right.
I feel like she's at the age, they did age her up, even though it's the same actress.
Right.
So, which I think, at some point you can do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe she's going to be bringing in the new teens. Maybe there's going to be some new teens coming in. And so we just needed to kind of pave the way through that.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I guess.
How old is Elizabeth's oldest?
Cam's like 20.
No, I didn't mean second oldest.
Oh, Jake.
Sorry. Jake, yeah.
So you're thinking Jake's age?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the teens are, quote, moving up. Like,
right.
Cam went off to college. Joss is dating an older guy. Spencer and Trina, not that they're not still going to be interesting, but I feel like they're trying to make Spencer a better person so that their love is a more mature love than the teenage whatever. So Jake and Charlotte would be appropriate teenage drama, especially for the summer.
So Hudson West is 15.
Okay.
So that feels right. That feels about...
If they brought back summer camp,
Lila's kids,
we could get some high schoolers involved there, junior high kids. That's when we got addicted. Like, come on.
Yeah. Very, very true. And then we never talked about it. And we don't talk like a ton about the actors' personal lives, but when they are celebrating stuff, like we kind of like that. Chad Dole's having a baby boy.
Yes.
With TBD due date. But Sophia Matson,
she finally announced it for you.
I have been telling Amanda for weeks off air because I'm like, I'm not going to do that on.
Right.
But I was like, they are dressing her. They are only shooting her from the waist down. She sat down the entire nurses' ball, her jackets.
Yep.
And
I only noticed it this week because then I knew. And so I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to pay
I was going to say, because
attention.
you never agreed with me when I said.
I didn't.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm allowed to hold a little bit of hostility towards women who can get pregnant and not show it anywhere else. Because you see her face and it has
Her
not
face
filled
has a
out.
little bit.
Yeah.
I see,
I don't
do.
see it.
a tiny bit. I mean, she's still very thin and she's very pregnant. And they're having a girl in May.
Yeah.
Next month. I mean, she's all belly.
Yes.
But I see it a little bit in her face. That's why I said anything.
Yep. Nope. Totally.
So, I knew it.
Totally did not see it. And then this week I paid super attention and I was like, okay.
Shannon's
I
not
got
crazy about this.
About this. Let me clarify.
About this, Shannon was right.
But yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, so that's it for, I guess. Oh, we don't really have a name for that kind of stuff, but I guess we'll stick with that as the pipeline. It doesn't always have to be.
Right.
I mean, that's news.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Outside, yeah.
Information that we got from outside sources.
Yes.
There you go.
I like it. That's the news.
Yes, yes it is.
Aw,
Don't start talking about how old we are.
no, I'm going to for a second because, like, there are seriously things that people, like, these kids are never going to know that. We were just having a conversation. Someone was telling me about how they're introducing an older sitcom to their kids. And I was like, yeah, we've been doing that with ours. I said, but, we tell them, no. For the week, there was maybe between 10 to 15 shows in the evening for everybody to choose from
Right.
across all the stations.
Yep.
On CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox. That was it.
Yes.
Everybody watched the
One
shows.
of these 10 shows. Yep.
So, yeah, the kids don't have that now. It's crazy. Crazy. All right. We can get into the stories.
The stories?
Let's get into our stories now that we're that old.
No.
Let's get into our stories.
No.
On Monday, Chase voices. On Monday, Chase voices his gratitude.
Okay.
On Tuesday, Chase learns his fate.
Okay.
On Wednesday, Curtis has a light bulb moment.
Okay.
And I just have to throw in a cute little story about my daughter here because when she was little one time, she came running out and had a light bulb in her hand and she put it above her head and said, Mom, I have an idea.
Aww.
And it was the cutest thing. And I posted on Facebook and it just popped up in memories either this week or last week. So I saw that. I'm like,
Aww.
that's so cute. On Thursday, Victor has bad news for Spencer.
Wow, that's putting that mildly.
And on Friday, Drew and Curtis confer with Laura.
Yeah, I guess.
So, I mean, I like them, I guess.
They're okay. I don't like whenever Monday and Tuesday are pretty much the same thing.
Right.
You couldn't have found anything else in one of those days.
Right.
So, I don't know. Where are you starting?
Let's just get it out of the way. Let's just do Chase. So Chase went to the review board. We finally had his hearing.
Yeah. And Blaze showed up and said some very nice things about him. That was
She
sweet.
stormed in
Yes.
after Brooklyn fixed his tie. It was sweet, but it was a little weird.
I felt like Brooklyn being there was weird because, like they said, you already wrote a letter and said everything you needed to say. And at the end of it, they didn't fall into each other's arms because we're just going to drag this out for as long as possible.
Again.
So Blaze showing up makes sense because she was not around whenever he got kicked out and she did not have a chance to write a letter. So her showing up and saying, hey, I've only known him for the past couple whatever, but he has really been a wonderful partner for me and he stood up to this slime ball and he's just an all-around good guy. Let him back on the force. Totally made sense. Brooklyn going in there again to be like, I just love him. He's wonderful. Didn't really do much.
I didn't like that the committee basically said, and what, you decide to just become a pop star? We understand you had to pay your bills, but a pop star? And it's like, he needed to pay his bills.
Yes. Are you really allowed to judge?
Right.
He didn't become a drug dealer.
Right.
Like, if
he didn't
that
start
would have been
breaking
it,
the law.
right.
You can make a hobby into a living.
Especially whenever you're pressured to do so because you just lost your job.
It would be great if we could make the podcast a living.
That would be.
peer54podcast@gmail.com. Oh, but we did learn that Blaze's real name is Allison Rogers.
Yep.
To my knowledge, that does not tie into anybody. I could not.
No one
Top of
popped into
mind.
my head for that.
Yeah. They went back and decided to give him back his badge.
Yep.
Well, not his badge. They decided to allow him back on the police force. And then Dante, because Dante had come too.
Yes,
And
Dante
then he and
showed
Dante
up at the end.
went and had a cup of coffee or were just, whatever. And Dante's like, so, when do you think you're actually going to be getting back in the swing of things? And Chase is like, man, if I had my badge, I'd get back in right now.
Right.
And Dante had it.
Yeah.
I thought that was sweet.
I did.
He
I
had
liked
the
that.
confidence that he was going to be getting his badge back, and he brought it for him.
Right. He was like, the commissioner gave this to me it wouldn't be the commissioner.
It might have been Jordan.
Maybe?
Or Mac, the chief of detectives.
Yeah, I don't know who he said. I just felt like he did say commissioner, but I'm not sure. Anyway, so-and-so gave me your badge because we had faith. So here you go.
I liked that. I did.
It was a cute moment between them.
And he is to get started on the Haunted Star disappearance ASAP.
I still don't think I understand that storyline. Not to jump into it.
How
How do you lose a boat?
So, hold it. Okay.
Shannon's
Are we going
very
there?
excited. Go
Are we going
ahead.
there? Okay.
Go, explain it
Because
to me.
we've talked about the fact that, I love Greek mythology. I loved antiquities was probably one of my favorite types of classes. I did Greek literature. I did Greek art. I love nerding out. So, we'll get back to the lost boat and everything. So we can go Curtis and Drew.
Okay.
First of all, we forgot to talk about Jordan calling out Curtis for possibly having some kind of an arrangement with this Miss Wu last week when he said something about I have resources or I'm going to, because it's understandable that as a private investigator, he would have other contacts.
Right.
But she immediately jumped to, oh, who? Miss Wu?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, hold on, let me find it. Because part of me was also not a fan of how this all happened. Okay, so Curtis finally decides to bring Drew in, which
Yes.
I kind of like how that came about because
Right, because it was a normal conversation. Laura was talking about Esme, and they were just kind of sharing every day what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden he was like, oh, wait, we didn't think to ask Drew. Hold on, let's go have a conversation.
right.
And then you see them sifting through boxes, talking about Oscar. And at first I thought that was just going to be the point of it, is we're going to bond over just finding out we have a child and then not being able to spend time with them because Oscar passed away and who knows where Trina is. And I was like, please don't do this. I don't want to watch this.
No, because that would be really sad. But so they did talk about a little bit. And Curtis was like, but I still don't know. And that really doesn't matter. But,
Right.
I'm not a fan of the fact that Taggert's not here.
Yeah. Because he'd be on that and it would be the
And he'd
exact
be working
same.
with Curtis.
Mm-hmm.
They have already had that conversation.
Yep.
Of, listen, you were already going to be her stepdad. We have already acknowledged each other. And Curtis basically said, I'm never going to replace you, even if I'm biological, is at least the impression I got from
Correct.
their conversation. So that was, okay. Has he even been called? No one's even said, hey, let's call Taggert.
Right. He should probably know that his daughter's lost on a boat somewhere.
If we just erase him, I'm not going to be so happy.
No.
However, so the first thing I wrote was Curtis brings in Drew. Are we finally going to get an answer to these tarot cards? Because they never
Never
came
finished
about.
that. Yes.
And we talked about the card having the tower on it, right?
Mhm.
And I think that we talked about Demeter.
Yeah.
And then on the map was an embossment of the Virgo sign.
Mm-hmm. And Drew's like, I don't know why that'd be on there. That's not my birthday sign.
Yes, it is.
I thought he said
Drew's-
it wasn't.
Yes, it is. It is. He said, I'm a Virgo.
Oh, okay. I
Drew
thought he
and I
said
share
that
a
was...
birthday and we're Virgos.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to insult you.
I know my sign.
I thought he was saying it's not even his sign.
No, he said that's my sign, but
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know why that's on there.
Okay.
All right, so we are just going to skip ahead, and I'm going to read this, even though I could totally say what it is. Basically, okay, there's a tie. You're going to follow this.
Okay.
Hades, living alone in the dark underworld, happened to glimpse up one summer day to see Persephone frolicking in the fields with her friends and fell instantly in love with her. He went to see his brother Zeus, who happened to be Persephone's father, and he asked Zeus for his niece's hand in marriage. Okay. And Zeus thought that was a good idea. However, Hades knew that Demeter, Persephone's mom, would never agree to the marriage, so he devised a plan that once Persephone was alone, he would open up the earth and swallow her in and, kidnap her.
Yeah.
Persephone at first was not a fan, but then she got a little Stockholm syndrome and fell in love with him.
Oh.
But Demeter was not happy, but Demeter is the goddess that is associated with the Virgo symbol, which is like of agriculture. And so she's like, fine, you're not giving me my daughter back. There's going to be no harvesting. This is not how that's written. I'm sorry. I started reading it and now I'm like, no, we're doing Shannon's version. Let me get my puppets. So basically, the world starved and they came to an agreement where Persephone would spend half of the year with Hades and half of the year with Demeter. And when Persephone comes back from Hades is when the spring comes, the frost is done, Demeter is happy and the world is allowed to grow again. So I feel like that all kind of ties in with the way that the Cassidines have kept their women, because that's kind of what they did with Laura, with Stavros. So is Mikos like Zeus and Helena's like Demeter, and now we're going to have some daughter somewhere?
Oh.
Is Operation Demeter something to do with Helena? And maybe if we had finished watching that video, we would have had this solved a year ago.
Yeah.
But what if that was like Mikos's code name for Helena? And so I don't know where to finish this, but that's where I have it.
Okay.
But I was like, as soon as he said the Virgo sign, I was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. That's where I am.
You're so cute. I love how very excited you are with all of that. I really don't know. I liked how they connected it all and it made sense. And it's like, oh, I forgot about this map and now we're going to pull this out and it happens to work together, but I don't know where they're going.
Mm-hmm. So who's the daughter? Who's the daughter? And why haven't they had an evil daughter Cassidine? Why is it only the guys? Helena could totally have had a daughter. Maybe she's been spending the past 60 years.
Oh, no.
Or 30 years, because what? The Ice Princess has been.
No.
What if it's one of the ones that froze, like wasn't that Alexandra Quartermain? Wasn't she one of the ones that froze in the thing?
I think, but I'm not positive.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
Because like it was an accident that she and
was
somebody
frozen.
But
yes.
what if they didn't die? I
know
don't know where to go from there. But yes, I was very excited.
Do you watch the show 911?
No.
So on this week's episode, sorry to spoil this if anybody already watched it, but you had the week. This guy gets into
That's
one
not
of those.
always a lot of time.
I'm sorry. This guy gets into one of those cryogenic thingies where it's like good for your skin to just stand in it or whatever. Well, I don't understand why this is a thing, so I'm not even trying to go there. But he had open wound on his arm, and they had wrapped it and like soft casted it and stuff. But still, everyone was like, "No, don't go in the freezy thing. That's not good for you." So he went in the freezy thing, and on the side note, someone had poisoned him, so he like fell asleep or whatever. But he went in the freezy thing and he froze, and so they had to come in and break him out of the thing. And one of the paramedics went to start CPR, and like his whole body shattered like glass. And I was like, they should have talked to the
Hold on. Are you
Cassidines on
talking
how
about, like,
to.
The real reality show 911?
No.
I was thinking cops. Okay,
yeah,
that's
not
what
cops.
Well, but I still don't watch that. That's why I'm sitting here like, for
How
real?
could I
Not see
no.
this on.
No, it is a made-up show, but there's two of them, and they follow police and 911 dispatchers and
Is it a
fire
comedy?
department. No, it's a drama, whatever. But my family loves it because we love all the police stuff. It's a good show. But anyway, he instantly went to do CPR, and the person's like whole body just shattered like ice, and that was immediately like my family's going, oh my gosh, blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, they should have called the Cassidines on how to like fix that, because if you're
They freeze
frozen,
everybody.
you can become unfrozen.
Yeah.
They didn't need to take such drastic measures and should have thought to not do CPR.
Yeah.
So I just think it's funny that, my brain works and like, oh, that's a real science because the Cassidines do it.
Sometimes the show's accurate, and sometimes
We want to
if we
freeze the whole
suspend-
world.
I kind of do you just want to stick on the whole?
Sure.
I know we're not supposed to like Victor, but like I'm kind of really starting to like Victor right now. Like I'm liking the acting, not what
I
he's
was gonna
doing.
say, I'm
No.
sorry, you want to freeze
No.
the half the world?
I'm liking, because I feel like for too long he's basically just been moping around, going,
Yes.
Cassidines, but we're Cassidines, and blah blah blah. I feel like we're finally getting the level of not entitlement, but we're understanding the Cassidine thought process. Like he finally is showing it.
Yes.
He's finally showing no, but I'm saving the world. What are you talking about?
right. Cassidines are all that matter.
Yeah.
Alexis said that this week. Whenever Laura's like, do you have any idea? She's like, no. Remember, I'm not really a Cassidine. I'm Cassidine adjacent.
Right.
And Laura was like, okay, just thought maybe you could help.
Yeah. So clarification here. Not liking what Victor's doing. I'm enjoying what Charles Shaughnessy is
Okay,
doing.
I was going to say, you're going to have some hate mail.
I'm enjoying what Charles Shaughnessy is bringing to Victor right now.
Yes. I like when they let actors work to their capacity instead of just having them be background players.
He's getting depth. It's not just...
Well, of course they're going to do that right before they change the whole storyline, and who knows where he's at.
Yeah.
But they docked.
They did.
They threw Trina in with Spencer. Still don't know where Obrecht is, because Spencer assumed they were throwing everyone into the same room because it's easier to guard.
Mm-hmm.
And Spencer and Trina were having a moment. She was so cute and romantic, because he's like, are you sure that this is where you want this to happen? And she's like, it doesn't matter where or what the setup is. All that matters is it's with you. And then interrupted because the boat stopped.
I did like their little banter back and forth, though, with how he was basically saying, and he named some of his negative qualities that he's
Yes.
working on. And she's like, that's not the person I see. She's like, yes, you are.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't say, that's not true.
Right.
I think she did say they were true. She might not have said like true, but I feel like she was acknowledging what he said. Not, I hate when, oh, that's okay. No, it's not. Just let them apologize.
Mm-hmm.
But before that too, before they got together, Victor tried to throw them both overboard.
Yes. And Obrecht did some quick thinking, because
Yes.
she was like, no, see, I'm going to need some people to test this vaccine on. I don't know why my brain could not remember that word for a minute. Test the vaccine on and figure out if it works, because you want me to save all the Cassidines and everybody. I need to see what's going to happen.
See, I'm getting old school 80s adventure love story vibes.
Yeah.
And I'm loving it, especially
course.
since how much we have watched them in the past
Mhm.
year, which, by the way, I did do a correction on our recap of the first 30 years of the show, because the write-up that we read did not include
all the stuff we just talked
the
about.
Mexican adventure, the Aztec princess, and the Asian quarter. And I'm like, those were huge. That's where we got Frisco and Felicia and Anna Devane and Sean Donnelly and Robert. You know, they were very important.
Yes.
But I feel like they're establishing Spencer and Trina as legacy.
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting.
I know. Don't mess them up.
So where do you think they stopped at?
Hades.
Okay.
That's where it's going to be called Hades.
Okay.
I'm hoping. Although Hades was a person, but still, that's what they refer to.
There wasn't names on the map, right? That
No.
Drew had circled. It was just places. Like, we didn't get to see the names. That would have been fun. They should have named them fun things.
I feel like it's probably not a place that's on a map. That's why I think that embossment was where it is.
Okay.
Maybe it's just called Demeter.
Maybe.
I don't know. Or Persephone.
There you go.
I think that's such a pretty name.
That is a pretty name.
I know. I want another pet. I want to name it Persephone. He's not listening.
He's not. And he's going to be like, what?
Can I just get a cat just to name it Persephone, please?
And he's going to tell you no.
No, because Cookie already does not want to be. Yeah. Oh, but Ace had the cutest hiccups.
He was so cute.
Loved it. Because it's hard to not smile when babies have, especially when he was doing so good with it. He wasn't crying, but
he is such a good baby. That's a good baby.
Spencer and Victor are still going back and forth about "you're not killing me," and I mean, and Charles Shaughnessy just became a grandpa, so it's like, how is he not? Oh, look at the little baby kick-ups.
Right. No, he did really good with that. He's like, here, Spencer, this baby's crying. The baby nurse doesn't know what to do with it, so take care of it.
Right.
And Spencer's like, what kind of baby nurse did you hire? The kid has colic. It's not some like crazy disease. What is wrong with you?
Or the baby's just crying, period, end of sentence.
Maybe he's upset you kidnapped him from his mother.
Right. Oh, and Austin, I like that Esme was all concerned and went to Austin, and Austin and Liz really did a good job of calming her fears of it's not dangerous. Like, colic is not dangerous.
The only ridiculous part of that was whenever Austin was like, I know someone who lost his their baby and it's okay, blah, blah, blah. And then Elizabeth's like, my kid was gone for a while. Like, no, these are not normal experiences.
Mm-mm.
I know Liz didn't actually say that, but it was just like,
no.
Oh my.
And I like that Esme called her out on what? So my baby's better without me? And she's like, no. I'm just letting you know that
physically he's going to be okay.
This is not something that is in dire need of medical care constantly.
Right.
So, yeah. Although, Amy.
Oh, that was unexpected.
Talking all about how Austin needs to stay away from Ava, and Liz shutting it down.
Yes. And he's like, you're really turned into quite the head nurse. And she was like, oh, Epiphany would not have put up with that, and I'm not going to either.
I don't know where to go from there, really.
Are we sticking in the hospital? Like, in the hospital?
Because Molly was there. Do that. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah. That's around the same time.
Right. That's why, well, that's not why Alexis was there, but Alexis happened to get pulled into that because she was there reading a pamphlet. So Molly goes to the doctor to say that, well, I guess she was just seeing if everything was okay, which I'm so glad that she did, because if you're having any issues getting pregnant, it's better to go to the doctor first than to wait months and months and then end up at the doctor. But on the flip side,
I don't think she was even having issues. I think she was just like, hey, we're thinking of trying.
Right.
Can you check out under the hood and see that everything's running okay? Do I need a tune-up? And then...
Right. But...
Sorry for the bad car analogy there, but it's, you know.
No. I totally agree with that, except for I didn't like the way that they led into this, the way that we talked about it last time, where Alexis was like, you'll be pregnant in a minute. And now that she's not pregnant in a minute, she's going to the doctor and saying, can you check everything out? If you're going to have a baby, it's a good idea to get all that checked out before you start trying. And if you're not going to, then jumping to the conclusion that something's wrong just because it didn't happen the first time is ridiculous.
Just because other people are telling you that it's going to.
Right.
It Mm-mm.
No.
But so they are going to do a biopsy and they suspect endometriosis.
Yes.
Okay, we talk about this all the time on the show. They bring great awareness to real life situations, and in real life, in your circle of friends, multiple things are going on at a time. However, you don't deal with it in 2.5 hours in a week. It's too much right now because they're not going to. I'm sorry, this kind of, I feel like, opens up the window for Willow to just die, because we're not going to have her actually go through with the bone marrow transplant and see how that goes and like really follow that through.
Right. We're just going to
jump on to the next. And to your point, that Alexis was reading a pamphlet, Gregory went to visit Alexis and fell, and he has ALS. And I feel like that's 3 very, very heavy things that we could all be learning a lot about.
But we don't want to hear about medical stuff every single day. Like, that's not why you're watching. As much as I love the education, I'm not watching the soap to get educated on 3 different diseases at once.
Right.
I want the love and romance. So you're either not going to do some of them justice, or you're going to drop the good storyline and we're going to be left disappointed.
And maybe they should have waited a few months for this to be happening with Molly. Have them be trying and have it be 6 months later and be like, what's going on? And even have her go to the doctors. And that's the other thing. Have her go to the doctors and have them not know. Right. That happens so much. And then you have to go back again and again and again.
But if they want to address this certain medical problem, which is a common medical problem, I feel like it would have been better done in the summer, again, with a younger audience. Because she's saying her symptoms are that she has a very heavy cycle, and that it's not comfortable whenever her and TJ are being intimate. There's girls that starts, from the time that they're real young, and they have no idea that that's not the way that it's supposed to be, because no one's ever told them that. So maybe we could have incorporated this into the summertime storyline to get more people to listen to it and go, oh, wait, I have that issue. Right. I didn't realize that wasn't how it was for everyone. Let me talk to parent or trusted adult, or
you should be going to your
doctor
anyway. But
yeah,
sometimes you don't know that something, especially if it's the only way that you've known it, you don't know,
right,
that's not. It's like we joke about some stories that we have been through, and then you realize not everyone has experienced that.
Right.
What?
Right.
And then you realize how messed up certain things are. Yeah, it's kind of like that. But, and then I started to feel bad about the Gregory thing, because him saying that he doesn't want Finn and Chase to know, because one day they are going to be having to take care of him. That's another, like, this is such a heavy, like, they did Mike's by himself.
Right.
No,
I'm with you.
These are huge.
I feel like we should have finished Willow, or at least got her to where she had the transplant, or didn't, whatever's going to happen with that, and then brought in Gregory, and then Molly should have been a summertime story, because they're 3 different degrees of medical issues, but they all deserved their own, okay, let's talk about it and explain it, or whatever. Because if Molly goes to the if they call her tomorrow and say, oh yeah, we found out that's what it is, here, we'll just treat it with some different hormone pills, boom, she's done.
And the next
3 months
she's
pregnant. I'm going to be like, no, that's not really. I mean, that might happen for some people, and that's great, but that's not really
If we're going
realistic.
to bother bringing this in as a story,
have
it be a struggle. I hate to say that, but you know what I'm saying. Like,
well, it's like whenever they diagnosed Bobby as a diabetic. She was like, oh, I'm diabetic now. Oh, no. And Epiphany was like, oh, I'm diabetic too. And then that was it.
Right.
Like, you don't even hear her make the comment like, oh, I shouldn't have a cupcake and a cookie because that's too much sweets.
Right. You don't hear about her Epiphany, as we talked about in her recap. She talked about her lifestyle changes and how Milo was so supportive and everything. But yeah, we see Bobby just
going about her everyday life.
Yep.
She doesn't even
To be fair, we don't even see Bobby, really.
True. So. But even, the every 6 months that we see her, she's not like, oh, I just came back from my checkup, everything's going great.
Right.
Or they said I'm on the right, dosage of medication, so everything's good, or something.
Right.
I feel like Carly would say, hey, Mom, how's that going?
And we never hear about Alexis's osteoporosis.
Nope.
Scott's kidney.
Right.
We hear about Joss's all the time.
And Anna,
Michael's heart.
Anna, they just throw in every once in a while, oh yeah, she had to go get a transfusion or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Don't give these people long-term illnesses if you're not going to at least check in on them every once in a while.
Right. We want to see how they're living with it. Because a lot of these are living with it. And sure, if
I don't want to hear about it every day, but yeah.
There's going to be challenges. And yeah. So
I'll get off my soapbox now. I didn't like how fast they were pushing that through.
But all three at once is just so much to deal with in a short amount of time.
Right.
So. And then we're also dealing with the haunted star thing. And yeah. Ned is regretting now siding with Valentine. What?
No,
that's old Ned.
Yeah.
That's not new Ned.
Mm-mm.
No. That's 90s Ned. 90s Ned would have been saying those things.
Right.
If Olivia had overheard Ned talking with Brooklyn,
right,
she'd have shut that down.
Yep. I feel like they kind of played everybody, like they've inserted extra storyline, but then played everyone down. Like they had Gladys and Sam at Charlie's, and Sam goes over and starts questioning her, but she wasn't doing it very down low. And then Gladys says, well, you're dumb for letting him out or whatever, he's a thief, and then gets up and walks away. And I'm like, you didn't learn anything from that. Sam wouldn't be so confrontational usually in the past. She'd kind of hang around and listen and get more information that way. But
she was definitely, but the thing is, maybe she knows she has to be super direct with Gladys and not tiptoe around it and just be like, I loved when she said, why are you so concerned about this?
Right.
What's this have to do with you?
Yeah. It's not even your bracelet. Like there's insurance on it.
And no one has even accused her or said, how dare you be so careless or anything. No one has even said a thing. And it came back. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And when you have insurance on something, that's not how it works. Gladys was like, if it went missing, I was going to have to pay for it. No?
Well, it depends on if they had her sign something. She probably had to sign some kind of a waiver.
I'm sure she
before she had to wear that. And I don't think she would get off scot-free if something happened to it. It's like when you rent a car. Yes, their insurance will cover something. However, you also assume responsibility for the item. That's what happens when you borrow things.
So maybe she has to pay something, but the way she worded it, it was like they were going to come after her for $10 million or whatever the bracelet was worth.
I bet that she...
Can someone please lend me a piece of jewelry from a fine jewelry establishment so I can sign the piece of paper and we know exactly what happens if I forget to return it?
Just call Tiffany's and ask them. Like if I were to borrow... Because that would not be covered under her homeowners. And she's not even a homeowner. I doubt her liability coverage is that high.
And now you're on with our insurance podcast. Okay.
But no, I would just about guarantee she would be responsible.
I'm going to disagree with you here.
I
feel like there's... Not that she would not have anything to pay, but it wouldn't have been anywhere close to what that thing was worth.
It would have been a lot, though. Like, I would think hundreds, at least. They would probably, yep. Well, depending on the value, it's probably a percentage.
Maybe. I wish I was fancy enough to know.
I'm not fancy enough to know. I just feel like that's...
No, I mean, I wish I was fancy enough to be like, last week when I borrowed that 20-carat tennis bracelet, it was fine.
So now she's taking a vacation from what? Exactly? What does she need a break from right now?
Because it's almost the 2-year anniversary of when she got shot that she didn't remember until Sasha reminded her. Needs that vacation and the upgrades.
Sasha's only paying for the upgrades.
It's very generous of Gladys to not make her pay even more for money.
And she was perfectly fine taking it.
Uh-huh.
I would have just been like, no, I'm already using the money that you're paying me.
Right. You're paying me
To do
generously,
this.
she said. You're paying me generously. I'll pay for my vacation myself.
Right.
So there shouldn't have been any extra upgrades. Just
Whatever Gladys wants,
she can pay for.
she can pay for.
Yeah.
And then Cody came clean with Sasha. Ish.
He needed to go all the way. That was not enough information.
That's a rock and a hard place, though.
He had to know that was not going to go over well. You need to trust me, but I can't tell you why.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
Like, he's given her just enough to be like, go find out for yourself. But then he's not giving her enough on this one.
Right.
It makes me sad. I don't want to see them mad at each other.
I feel like he should have just said, maybe you should check out that garage deal, and left it at that.
Because I'm a nerd, I had to look it up.
Of course.
All high-end pieces of jewelry must be insured in case of accident, theft, or damage. The liability usually lies with the person wearing the item.
Okay.
So that insurance would have been out. Gladys probably had to take out the insurance on it.
But what's the point of insurance then? If she has to pay the whole thing anyway.
But she would have had to have paid whatever, like, the agreement would have said or anything. But yeah, she's liable.
All right. Well, now I guess I'm definitely not borrowing 10-carat diamond bracelets. Man.
Are Michael and Willow just having the longest day ever?
Uh-huh.
Because a lot has happened in the
Tomorrow.
overnight.
It's going to happen tomorrow, but we're still not on tomorrow.
That, I mean, it's the Haunted Star thing has been going on 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
This is where it's like, what's this timeline?
Right. Sam got a dress, took it to Kristina.
Yes.
Okay. Loved the sisterly interaction between the two of them about you borrow my stuff and then you don't return it and blah, 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 blah. On the flip side of that, did not understand Dante offering to take Sonny out to lunch or whatever. Was he going to skip the wedding?
I think he was. I think that he was going to offer to help keep the peace. I do. I think that
I don't like that. Sonny,
I don't either.
Sonny would not have gone to that wedding if he was not invited. And so then he said, oh no, I can't do lunch because I'll be at your brother's wedding. And Dante was like, no, you can't go, blah, blah, blah. And then Sonny said, no, actually your brother invited me.
Right.
And Dante, have you never met your dad?
The one that shot you?
Yeah. He does follow proper rules in a lot of different instances, and family is one of them. No, as far as ruining...
If he was not invited to Michael's wedding, he would not have crashed it. Correct.
Right.
However, a whole lot of other stuff. The reason why Michael's not talking to him has a whole lot to do with
But
his
he would not
choices.
ruin someone's special day, especially Willow's, especially at this time in Willow's life, just to say, oh yeah, I was there, I got to be there.
Right.
So, and Dante should have been there no matter what.
Right. Well, and so earlier, Michael and Willow asked Joss and Carly to hurry up and get everything together, and Willow asked Carly to help mend the bridge between Sonny and Michael.
Yeah. I don't know how easy that's going to be, but because we see them have that conversation, then we see Sonny tell Dante, yeah, I'm going to the wedding, and then, well, before he lets Dex go, he says, deliver this. So Dex ends up at Charlie's. Super sweet present for Kristina from Sonny. That was perfect. I was so happy. He combined her interests. Let's find a house that you can help underprivileged youth and get this together.
Homeless.
Was it just for homeless? I wasn't sure exactly what.
I think it was homeless teens, wasn't it?
I didn't know if it was going to be like a home, like pick these 8 people and let them live in it and then help them get on their feet.
Okay.
Or if it was going to be like, oh, you got kicked out of your house, you need to stay here for a couple nights before you move on to the next thing. So, but whatever it is, it was a great idea, and it went after her actual
interests and what she wants to make
like
a change
her calling,
for.
right. She didn't want to give up.
She's going to be able to make her
job.
passion into a long-term career.
Right.
I like that he already basically started the business for her.
Yeah, he's like, pick which place you want. This is what we're going to go for. But anyway, Dex does that, and it was very nice. And you hear Kristina talk about, oh my gosh, I love my dad. What would I do?
Is he gonna be Sonny's
Blah,
son?
blah, blah. No. I refuse that.
I do too. Because he was all looking. He was looking like,
no, he was looking like, oh man, I'm so sorry that I'm trying to like take your dad down because it sounds like you really like him. But then he walks out of the bar and calls whoever and is like, yeah, Pikeman's going down tonight, blah, blah, blah.
And what has happened with that? I'm sorry. This guy tried to kill Sonny. Like, this group tried to kill Sonny.
They never proved it was him.
No, but I'm not talking about Dex. I'm just talking about in general, the Pikeman group. They've been working on this deal now for months.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that deal was kind of a, hey, this is going to be done quick. You know, we're going to get this over, done with, move on. No one say anything. We're in and we're out. You know, it's a very stealth operation.
It was, let's get this through and be done with it.
Right.
Not a every week occurrence kind of thing. Like, I just need to borrow your docks for 2 months.
Right.
Let me ship these things real quick and be out.
Right.
And instead we're still blah, blah, blah.
See, the look I was getting from Dex was, I couldn't tell if it was, he is jealous, but sad jealous, you know, like the, oh man, you know, I never got that from Sonny, or was it, I never got that from my dad.
Right.
Like, I've never had that kind of a relationship with my father. That must be wonderful.
Okay.
Like, that was kind of the vibe that I was getting.
Yeah,
Not the, if it's Sonny, no.
Mm-mm.
Stop.
No.
Make it someone out of the blue.
Yes.
Tie him into the bajillion families that have come before. Make him Faith Roscoe's son.
Right. Somebody that Sonny did wrong.
Yeah.
Which would make it understandable of why he wants to work with Michael to take Sonny down.
Right.
Not Sonny's kid.
Right. But so Michael, we're just going backwards with that storyline. Michael called Sonny and invited him, or said, I'll come to the chapel and talk to you.
Yes.
And just as he was inviting Sonny and saying, just so you understand, this is just you. In walks Nina.
I forgot my purse.
And then she went over to Ava's to basically vent. You know, she went over to her friends.
Right.
But prior to that, Carly had come over to talk with Ava about, hey, they're moving up the wedding. Would you mind? And we all know Ava was not going to say no. But Ava and Avery were putting together a puzzle, and she didn't want to go to bed because she didn't want Ava to be alone.
Yes.
Which is sweet. Ava's already redecorating.
I know. I really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
At first I was like, where is she? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep.
She's done a good job.
But Carly came over and asked Avery if she would like to be a flower girl and explained what that is. And I liked Ava being like, what? I thought that they were moving up I thought they were waiting. And then she was like, oh.
Yeah.
They had a good conversation. They kind of aired a lot of stuff, and Carly called her out. How are you friends with that woman?
I loved it.
Ava addressed it and said, I try not to think about it because she's gotten the help. I have seen her work really hard to move past being that woman. She was in a really bad place, because we've talked about that a million times. That was not a mentally healthy Nina that
cut someone's
did all
baby
that.
out.
I mean, there was a lot of things wrong. But I like that she struggles with it. I like that she said that to Carly. But then I also like that she turned it back on Carly and said, you have found a way to make peace with me for Avery. Can you at least basically call a truce with Nina right now? Sonny said something about, I've been seeing her relationship with Willow make progress. And I'm like, no. Willow answered a couple questions for her.
About medical stuff. Willow was
Right.
like, I understand that you might be sad if I die. So here, let me tell you, this is where we're on the medical stuff. She didn't tell her anything else.
Right.
She does not want her to be part of those conversations.
And I will give Carly credit. She tried not to have the conversation with Nina. She was like, no, we're not talking about this. House is huge. You go find somewhere to sit. I will find somewhere to sit.
Yep.
Until Ava comes, and Nina just likes to pick off that scab and say, here, let me put my finger in it and it's going to feel good. No, it doesn't.
Right.
she's gonna slap you. She didn't slap you.
She didn't slap her.
No,
but
I'm just thinking that was
yes,
the
no,
reaction if someone
exactly.
opened.
She wanted to, but she
really
didn't.
using some weird
You
analogies.
have. I don't
Hi
know
guys,
what
this is
Shannon's been
Saturday
watching.
evening. It's Saturday evening that we're doing this, so I guess
you were
it's different.
working all day, so you shouldn't have been drinking.
I'm not drinking.
Okay.
We should have
Take
been.
the scab off and jam her finger in it.
But that's
the
what
new
I'm
one.
thinking. I'm like, it's like open. It's
Yes.
Opening the wound.
Yes.
So-
yes. Which is a much better saying than picking up the scab and jamming your finger in it.
Be like, does that feel good?
In case you wanted to know which one you should go with around proper company. Okay.
This is our show. They're already our proper company. They're used to this. Hi, if you're new to the show.
I'm so sorry that this is the first one you decided to listen to. She wouldn't stop. So Laura, what in the heck?
Well, that's the actress.
Yes, I know.
Yes.
So Carly was like, listen, she specifically told me she didn't want to know who her mom was in case it was someone like you. So stop.
And she kept reminding her we didn't even know she was sick.
Right.
Like there's literally all the and it's there's too many but if we'd known.
Right.
Because if she had known, then Willow would have made the decision, okay, then for my health, I need to.
Yeah.
But who's to say that? And she even said, here's the thing. You've known Willow for years.
Yes.
And you treated her like garbage.
Right. She went all the way
Just
back to
because
Charlotte.
she's your
She was
daughter,
like, you got her
biologically,
fired. Yep.
does not mean instant relationship.
Nope.
You do have to, especially after you've probably done some really bad things to that person, you have to still earn that relationship.
Right.
You don't. No.
Nope.
So I don't know. I liked the whole conversation. I don't have a side. I like that each of them brought in their own. Everything came out.
Right. I feel like it was a natural conversation to happen, everything that they said. But if Nina would have just sat there with her mouth shut or went to sit in the library or whatever, never would have had to hear all the nasty things that Carly said.
Exactly. So, I don't know.
I feel like that's everything except for the Felicia and...
No. Robert grilled Diane
Oh, yes.
about how she can work for Sonny because he's like, I respect you. I like you. You know, you're a very no nonsense type of gal. And she talks about Spinelli.
Yes.
Is why, because she never felt so appreciated. And I love how she told the story because
Right. And Robert's instantly like, oh, Spinelli.
well, but at first he asked, well, which one? And she's like, And then as soon as I forget what Spinelli called her, like Madam Lawyer or something like that. And he went, Spinelli.
Yep.
I like that Robert did fix the car. I thought it was cute. The oil sprayed all over. And
her.
although, can we just remember how long it's been since they played that baseball game? Okay, it's the spring. Let's think that it's starting the new season.
Yes.
Okay.
Brand New Jersey.
I'm shutting myself down I'm like, oh my gosh, that is 9-month-old stank.
No. It's a brand new fresh one that he just picked up last week when they assigned teams.
Okay. And they get a little flirty.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, at first I wasn't sure about how they kissed because I was like, was she into it? And then she was kind of being like, no, this is not how this is happening. Like, this is,
Right.
So I feel like she wanted.
Yeah.
And he grabbed her and kissed her.
Yes.
It was cute.
It's about time.
And they finally put up a fence. So maybe more people aren't going to go flying around that bend and off the cliff.
Thank you for having safety measures up.
Do you say guardrail or guide rail?
I say guardrail.
Me too. I texted that to somebody earlier and I said, or guide rail, just in case.
Yeah, no, guardrail.
Where you're from, what do you call it? I feel like in Pittsburgh, it's definitely a guardrail.
Yeah.
It guards you from going over the cliff.
Yeah.
Okay, but then.
You're like, then. I'm loving it, but I'm also confused.
Okay.
So I was very confused this week, apparently. So you see these guys, and they're like, we're going to have this auction, and blah, blah, blah. And in walks Felicia and Holly. Well, before that, we saw Holly, but I feel like most of that was just like, blah, 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 catch each other up. Where have you been hiding? Oh my gosh, whatever.
Well, she was pretending to be housekeeping
Yes.
as Felicia was getting ready.
She's like, I don't need all these. And she just walks in anyway. So she had an outfit for her. They got her all dressed up, whatever. So we're in this room, and they come in, and they're like, yes, we want to bid on the auction items, blah, blah, blah. And the guy's like, no, it is just online. You submit your bid. You cannot be in here. And he says that what he's auctioning off is Victor Cassidyne's.
Yeah.
And they say, we are bidding on behalf of Victor Cassidine.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all. If I'm
Because
selling items, these are Amanda's items she's
Right.
auctioning off, and you come in and say, I'm here to auction on Amanda's items for Amanda.
or did they say they were there as Victor's guests? Because later on, Holly said, my money. Do you
She
think I just
did.
have my account numbers? So maybe they were just saying, no, we're here personally as Victor's requested people.
Maybe, but that's
So
not
no.
the way it was said in the beginning at all.
I agree.
And
But
I was
I
like,
feel like that's how it ended up.
yes. So then they sit down and they're like, we have no idea what's being auctioned off.
No.
And then Holly is talking, and she's like, I do think that Ethan is closer than what we think, blah, blah, blah. And they bring in this guy with the bag over his head, and they sit him down, and they take it off, and it is the new Ethan.
Who has literally said like 3 words. So let's just...
Right. Cannot
Yep.
judge him. No, I mean, I'm disappointed that it's
Social
not
media
the
is
original.
a mess. However, Nathan Parsons is not available.
Right. I would assume that they went to him first and said,
Probably.
hey, can you do this? And he said no. And so, yeah, they had to find somebody else because we've been building this up for months.
Right.
So,
Maybe they should have told him months ago. But also, who knows? Who knows?
right.
We are not part of this
Bottom
conversation
line is-
yet.
Yeah, until I've heard more than 3 words and a look from him, I can't judge
He
what
sat
kind of
in
actor
that
he
chair
is.
just as well as Nathan Parsons
Right,
would have.
Right. His hair tousled the exact same amount.
Well, and it's to look more like Luke. That
Yeah.
is to look more like Luke. I mean, it is a completely different change.
Yes.
When they said, like, when they took off the bag and she said, Ethan, I mean, I think everybody could agree, no one would have guessed that was Ethan unless she had said something.
Right. It was set up.
But they're auctioning off killing him.
Mm-hmm.
We do need to watch some of these together and record because I had a lot of I'm like, that's so messed up. I believe was my exact.
It is messed up. So then they place the
I
bid.
wonder if that's like really a thing though. Like in those inner circles, you know how they have like those
Yeah.
extravagant safaris and stuff? Like, do they really auction off killing people?
I don't know, but
I
I'm never
don't want to know if
going
you
on-
know. Do not. I am not Googling it.
I'm never going on safari with Shannon. Just in
We found-
case.
Did I tell you about the dentist that killed his wife while they were on a safari? And it was actually someone in the Pittsburgh area. And he worked
Yes.
at the bank that I worked
Yes.
at.
I remember.
And he was my friend's dentist.
I remember you telling me,
Okay.
like, I handed that man his cash before, and who'd have thought?
I was not a teller, but
You
but
know,
still,
but I mean, hey, how are you? Whatever.
I
You
probably
had-
smiled
You
at
had
him.
interaction at some point in the interaction with him.
Sorry.
That's okay. So she's like, here, let me give you my account number and I will take my winnings, I'll have my business guy Zelle you that money in a
I
little
was
bit.
waiting for him to be like, well, do you have Venmo?
Right. Cash App, PayPal. How would you like to do this? And then her to be like, I will only use this, and this.
Why
'cause
wouldn't they
some of those other
confirm?
ones aren't secure?
And I'm sorry, what kind of an auction house is auctioning
Right.
off millions and millions
Right.
of dollars and you're not confirming and getting those numbers beforehand?
Yeah.
Shame on you.
Yeah. Not the proper way to handle it. But anyway, no, you don't have the money.
If we
Sorry.
were auctioning off people to
That's
kill,
right.
that's
If I was auctioning,
that's right.
the first thing I would be concerned about is how are you going to pay for this death? Okay,
We're gonna put in 2 deposits that will equal 50 cents. You have to verify your account with us, and then you can.
Yes, exactly.
Verified counts only.
Oh my. So in walks, I was like trying to get my train of thought back. In walks the next highest bidder. You could tell the second she walked in. That's Tracy. She talked. You could see a little bit of her lips.
She didn't talk. They just.
I guess you saw a little bit of the bottom of her face.
Lips, and
you were like, "Yep, that's Tracy. That's Tracy." And then they said something, and she did say like one thing, and they were like, "No, wait, blah blah blah." And then they like pulled her hat off and like, "Oh, Tracy."
Felicia should have known. Holly, I will give. But
Right.
Felicia, 1,000%. 1 bajillion 1,000%.
Right. And then they're like, well, now we're going to just take all of you and throw you in prison or whatever. And they're all bam, 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 bam.
Felicia and Ethan are knocking out the guys. I don't think Holly got one. I was kind of bummed by that. But I was super excited to see that Tracy is saving Luke's son.
Yes. So I can't wait to see how it all comes full circle because they're like, we got to get out of here.
And then that was it. Yep. It's literally the first thing on my page. So that
it was like the first thing that happened. Mm-hmm. That was like how Monday opened, I'm pretty sure, where they were like, Felicia's somewhere close to Venezuela.
Yeah.
And then, nope, nothing else.
Nope. So we're actually doing a 411 about Ethan this week instead of finishing the decades because so many people saying, I have no idea who Ethan is.
Unbelievable. That makes me sad.
We're sad for you.
We are.
But we're going to tell you all about him.
We are.
We didn't have enough time to watch a darn thing. Did you watch any?
I feel like I didn't have to. Ethan's just like...
But how many times do we say that? And then when we watch it, we're like, I forgot about this. I forgot. And we can do that as we read because the write-up looks really good. So
well, this time I'm going to read it and go, I remember that. I knew that.
I hope I can have that same...
So there.
Yes.
All right. So what was your...
reality check.
Were you on any boats that docked anywhere exotic?
No.
Did you bid on killing anyone this week?
No, but now I got some new business ideas.
And then someone can say, very upset with you. What happened that you got out of real estate and are now killing people? See? It's not the same. They're not on the same level. Because the reinstatement board is like, Chase, these are the same. No?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I would definitely lose my license. I am pretty...
I'll write you a nice letter like Brooklyn did for Chase.
Please
let Shannon have her license back because she just needed to auction off this one person. It's okay. And we verified the bidder's accounts.
Funds.
We followed all the rules.
Letter.
Right. Exactly. And we had them have insurance on it too because now we all know how that works.
Anyway. So we had my daughter's IEP meeting.
Yeah.
Somebody made a comment that basically made it sound like I might be holding her back. And I fight so hard because we were talking about...
So you don't need to bid on killing someone. You just need help burying a body.
Exposure. I'm kind of mad at myself because I should have known, good or bad, how emotional they are and not scheduled anything afterwards. I did cancel things.
Okay.
But it definitely was not enough because I still had to go somewhere. And I was able to talk with a friend who does understand and care. And then there was somebody else there who at least cares to understand.
Okay.
And she goes, listen, it is not worth the bail money. I was like, you are right. You are right. I said, I'm going to have to remember that because we were talking about getting her exposed to photography because she takes beautiful photos. And she's just really struggling with understanding that she could actually make that into a career.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not connecting there. And that's kind of what I said. And the one person said, oh, I actually know a photographer who does one-on-one. They could come to the school and work with her. I was like, oh, they could come to this school. And the other person said, listen, she is too comfortable here. We need to be getting her out into the community. And I'm sitting there like, I am working so hard to get all of this in place. She does therapy every other Monday. She goes to her social group for 3 hours on Tuesday night. She works at her part-time job for 3 hours on Wednesdays. She goes to a social group, which is different than a social skills group, with another group of people for about an hour and a half to 2 hours on Thursdays, and then works her other job only an hour and a half, but at some point over the weekend. She also takes guitar lessons for, granted, 30 minutes, but 30 minutes once a week. We go to church. She comes to my office. Like, I'm not holding her hostage in our house. And I repeated and I said, transportation is still a barrier when it's my responsibility. Like, I still have to work.
Yes.
And I'm not just saying that on behalf of me, because my work, and it's so important to understand this, it's flexible. It's not optional.
Right.
Like, I have to do it.
Yes.
It's not, no, we're not in that position that it's not.
Right. And most people aren't.
Extra.
Yeah.
Right. But exactly. And this is why families that have somebody in the family that somebody else is sole caregiver, and I'm just going to say that I'm the sole just because I am the one that knows everything.
Yeah.
That is something I can 1000% say I know everything.
Right.
Because, and I write it down just in case. My husband definitely knows a lot, but I know it all.
Right. You're the mom.
I opened with my introduction and said, I'm Shannon, mom and expert on blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And my supports coordinator was there and said, she liked that. She goes, I'm going to tell my parents from now on to say that because
right.
You are
the expert on your daughter.
And I was just so mad at this person because it is someone that I have known. And I said, I'm not just going to throw her out there.
Right.
She's legally allowed to be here until she's 21. I'm not just going to have her stop. No. She needs her routine while we're figuring this out. It's great that the school is flexible with, Right.
Doesn't it make sense to have the photography teacher come to the school and teach her all the beginning stuff, and then next fall or whatever, however it works, next semester, however the system runs, then say, oh, okay, now we're going to take a field trip to the park, to the this, to the that. And where her school's located, there's plenty of beautiful settings around that they could just walk to and take some nice pictures.
Fair enough. There are a lot of securities and stuff, but then I had to write a note to this other person, the person who suggested the photographer. And I basically reiterate, because it was the first time I'd met this person. We'd emailed twice.
Okay.
So it was really my first time. And I called my sports coordinator and she goes, you handled yourself well. I was like, I need you to let me know if I'm ever out of line. She goes, you're fighting for your kid. Right. She's like, you're not out of line.
Yep.
She's like, you weren't yelling. You weren't being disrespectful. You were like, we have talked about this, until there are things in place. And then she brought up the situation that we were supposed to have started last year. Remember what a hot mess that was?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because her teacher asked, well, it was supposed to be half school, half this. And I was like, yeah, that didn't happen because it actually wasn't an option. They came to the table with it and didn't fact check it to see if it was even actually an option.
Yeah.
And she mentioned the company again. And I thought for sure my daughter was going to say, no, I already told you not working for them, because she was so mad about the situation.
Right.
Because I had to do so much prep work of, you're going to be working for them, blah, 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 blah. No, it wasn't even an option.
Yeah.
So no, she's not going to do that. And I'm sorry. The work that she wants her to do is stereotypical stocking shelves work.
Right.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with doing that for a job. It is just so stereotypical to give the most remedial tasks to somebody with an intellectual disability, with something that is perceived as less skills.
Right.
Instead of, and the point of this program is to get these people, these kids, identifying their strengths and being and getting the same chances that other kids. Sorry, I'm here's my soapbox. It just made me so mad.
It's one thing if she tries and fails, and then you have to turn around and say, okay, we can only
She is not going to be a brain surgeon.
Here.
If she told me she wanted to be a brain surgeon, I'd be like, that's not going to happen for you.
Yeah.
But she has a lot of potential.
Right.
But if you tell her this is what you're going to do, she's going to start feeling like that's all she can do.
Right. I mean, that's the same with any kid. If you tell them you can't amount to anything, then that's what they think. You have to tell them.
My 6th grade guidance counselor told me that I was not going to achieve anything.
Okay, how can you even know that at 6th grade? Like, that's insane.
How did she know that about me in 6th grade?
Like, what?
And here, guess what happened in 6th grade a month in? My best friend died.
Oh my gosh.
I was not exactly okay. 6 days after my grandfather. First time I ever had any death in my family. I was perhaps not emotionally okay.
Right. But
maybe we should have been caring about that.
Yes. You need to tell kids that they can do whatever they want to do and foster in a realistic way.
I was going to say, within
their
reason.
interests.
Because again, if they want to create an auction system for killing people, perhaps we don't follow that dream.
Right. Exactly. In a healthy way that is something they can achieve. And then whenever they achieve whatever it is, good job. It doesn't matter.
Well, my son is studying animation. So, and they all know this. So we obviously support, the starving artist is such a stereotype too.
Right.
So
but you support exploring your passion.
Right.
And if her passion ends up being to work in the grocery store and whatever, then that is absolutely fine. Nothing wrong with that job, but at least give her other options to then decide and understand that that's her passion.
Right. Exactly. So that was that.
All right. I didn't have anything that exciting going on. Thank goodness. It was our last. Well, we still have to go tomorrow because we're recording Saturday night because she has to go tomorrow. But this weekend is our last dance competition. And they did good. They got the high gold. I feel like everybody gets something, but it's where you place on that. And so she was a step up from the, okay, everybody gets something. And she's happy with that. And I'm happy with that because I'm not one of those dance moms that need her to be on
bring
TV
on all the
one day
medals
or
and
whatever. Yeah. I'm just, and it's fine if you are. I don't have that kind of money or that kind of time to put into it. So I am just good with you tried your hardest. You had fun dancing. You looked cute while you did it. Here you go.
Like, does she want to do that? Like, does she want to be a competitive dancer for the rest of her life?
No, she wants to dance forever. According to her, she's going to dance forever. But she's also doing cheerleading forever, like all the way up through college and all that. So
she could get some mad scholarships though if she sticks with
things.
And if
she wants to, that's awesome. But again, like I ask her every time that we have to sign up for something, do you want to do this? Because once you commit to it, you have to follow through the season. After the season, if you never want to do it again, I don't care. When you commit to a team something, you have to finish it for your team.
Yes.
And so, she's still all about this is what she wants to do, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm good with that. But she also is not asking, can I take 20 other classes so that I can be at this child's level? So
she's good where she is.
Yeah, she understands there are kids better. There are kids not as good. She's happy where she's at, advancing her skills slowly. And that's where I'm at. We have a friend that has done 1,000 classes and gets all the awards. And I think that's awesome and wonderful. Again, I don't have the bankroll for that or the time. And that's just not where Madeline's heart is. So I'm not going to.
And so why force it?
Right. Again, like we just talked about, find
that's what I'm saying.
What your passion is. At this point, Madeline's passion is just, I want to perform for people and enjoy my dances. I don't want to go full scale competitive. She doesn't want to be that. So
like part of the Pittsburgh Ballet or anything like that. But like her dream is not to be a world renowned dancer.
No.
So that's cool.
So,
but and that gives her a lot of good skills. So yay, Madeline.
She gets up there with this big smile and dances all around. It's adorable. So all of them are adorable. Oh my gosh. They have one that is called chicken noodle soup. And they took the big bins, like where you would throw toys and like outside stuff in, the big round ones. And they made a label for it. They're all each red. And they made a label for each one with the kid's name. And so it says, Mary's chicken noodle soup.
Aww.
And then each one is a like little kid, like 3-year-old, in a different animal costume. So there's a bunny, there's a puppy, there's whatever.
Is there a chupacabra?
And then there's not a chupacabra. And then there's one little girl who not sings, but like mouths the words to animal crackers in my soup, and they like all pop out of their thing and they play around. It's so cute.
Aww.
So maybe Madeline knows that she'll just never live up to that in my mind because she's older now, and I'm like, you did a really good job, and look how cute that bunny is. So, but anyway, good weekend. Glad we're not in the IEP stress yet.
Yeah.
So,
Yay.
yeah. For my older daughter, that's in December, so that fight's done for a few more months.
I think that's it.
That's it.
All right. Join us on Thursday as we talk about Ethan.
Have a good week.
And we'll meet you at the pier.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to peer54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review.
And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Peer 54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at peer54podcast@gmail.com.